deficit. So 2 reasons you don't want to be over your caloric deficit too long or too many days in a row. So first one is the fairly obvious one, is this is going to affect your adrenal system, okay? It's going to eventually get into your cortisol levels, your estrogen levels are going to get off, and generally how this works is I see clients that get close to the amount of calories they need for the day, but they're working out way too much. So let's say for simple math, you're supposed to have 1,500 calories for the day. A couple ways you could be too far into a deficit. One, you only eat 1,000 calories, okay, so then you're at a 500 calorie deficit, but then you burn 1,000 or 1,500 through exercise. So in the short run, you might be losing some fat, but you're also going to be losing some muscle. Okay, you can only do this for so many days before this is going to take a psychological toll on you, and it will have a physiological effect on your hormones. The other way, and I feel like this is not talked about quite as much, let's say that you get these huge deficits, 1,000, 2,000 calorie deficits. You are more susceptible, and I've seen this time and time again after 20 plus years of doing this. The person that does these huge chunks, these huge deficits, 1,000, 1,500 calorie deficits, that hasn't quite fried their adrenal system, always tends to fall off the wagon. They'll have that one meal or that one food that just sets them off. And it's either hours of eating or a day that puts them back a few days, or it just knocks them off the wagon for a couple weeks. So something to consider. It's always best to try to stay consistent. It's always best to make sure you have good line of communication with your nutritionist. What I make sure is I know what's going on psychological with my clients. If I know that somebody's had a funeral or a death in the family or have lost a job, sometimes I don't want them to be in a deficit. I'll say, if you're supposed to have 2,000 calories, let's eat 2,500 for a couple of days. Let your body rest. Let's make sure you're getting nutrients. I would rather somebody add a little or just make no progress. In the long run, this is going to allow them to have progress. So having said that, people ask me all the time, well, then what do you do? What are your deficits? Great question. Mine do vary, but this has been the sweet spot that I've found. First off, you need to know that a 500 calorie deficit for 7 days in a row is going to be roughly 1 pound of fat. That's assuming 3,500 calories are in a pound of fat, which is pretty accurate, that 4,000. What I like to do is I will be around 600 or 700 calorie deficit. Some days I will consume my 3,500 calories, and then I will make sure that I'm burning off about 600 or 700 calories, so I hit my deficit for the day. I'll do that for 2 days in a row. Then I'll have a large deficit day of about 1,000 to 1,200 calories. Then my 4th day, what I like to do is break even or go over a little bit. Depending on how the week goes, let's say that I hit my 500, and then I do my high deficit day of 1,200. Every once in a while, I'll do another 1,200, but usually the 4th or 5th day, I'll break even or have no deficit at all. So once I'm happy with the way that I look, the appearance, my body fat, I will be conscious of the amount of calories I'm consuming for a few days, and I try not to really hit a deficit. Or let's say that I'm burning 1,000 calories through exercise that day, and let's say my BMR is 3,500, then I'll try to consume around 4,000. So I'm not always in a state of trying to lose fat. That is important to know, that once you learn your numbers, you can kind of eyeball some things, and it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But that's the beautiful thing, is when you do a diet plan, it's a learning process, and you begin to learn what calories and macros are in the foods that you're eating, and then you begin to know what you feel comfortable with, what your appearance, how long it took to get there, or you begin to play with that. But there needs to be some mental breaks. Let's just say that.